Submarines, while costly, might surprise you with their destiny. Contrary to belief, abandoned submarines do exist, scattered in the aftermath of conflict. These once mighty vessels, which were once crucial in warfare, end up forgotten. Now it's obvious to think why such pricey assets end up abandoned. What causes the discarding of submarines? And where can you find these forsaken giants? Join us in this video as we uncover the 15 abandoned submarines that actually exist. Number 15. HDMS Ceylon, S323. Ceylon is a Submarine-class submarine and is one of only 4 ever built, crafted with precision by the Royal Danish Navy. Unlike long-range vessels, it was made to protect coastlines and patrol harbors. But her career started under a different flag. Built in Germany in 1965, she was first known as HNOMS Uthaug, commissioned by the Royal Norwegian Navy. 25 years later, Denmark acquired her in 1990 and renamed her Ceylon. Yet her debut under Danish command took an unexpected turn. During transport that December, she sank in the Kattegat and had to be lifted by a German crane. After 3 years of restoration, she returned to service and even took part in the 2003 Iraq invasion. She was officially retired in 2004. Today, Ceylon serves as a museum piece with the Royal Danish Naval Museum. Her story, marked by identity changes, setbacks, and resilience, makes her one of Denmark's most unique naval relics. Number 14. EML Lembit. Just before the Second World War, a set of Kalev-class submarines was produced for Estonia, which was then a neutral state. Among these deadly machines was EML Lembit, now standing as a museum vessel in Tallinn, Estonia's capital. Her journey began in the shipyards of Barrow-in-Furness, England, where she was launched in 1936. Starting out under Estonia's naval flag, Lembit was later absorbed into the Soviet Navy after the German invasion of the USSR in 1941. Having survived intense wartime operations, she earned the nickname the Immortal Submarine for her uncanny endurance under enemy assault. After decades of service, she was still sailing in May 2011, becoming the world's oldest operational submarine at 70 years old, outliving her sister ship, Kalev, by a wide margin. Even more notably, she remains the only pre-war Estonian Navy ship still in existence. With a legacy this rare, EML Lembit finally retired as a museum-worthy stuff in 2011, preserving a record-breaking lifespan in naval history. Number 13. U-995. During the final years of World War II, the German U-boat U-995 was one of the last submarines built by the Nazi Kriegsmarine. A Type 7C/41 class vessel, she launched in July 1943 and officially entered service by September. Just 18 months later, Germany's surrender placed her in Allied hands. U-995 wasn't a small machine. She measured 220 feet long and 15 feet wide, displacing around 759 tons. She could reach 20 miles on the surface and was manned by a 56-member crew. Her wartime record included the sinking of 3 Allied merchant ships, 1 warship, and an auxiliary vessel. Ironically, she also sank one of her own merchant ships by mistake. After the war, U-995 was stranded in Trondheim, Norway, where the British handed her over to Norway in 1948. Renamed Cora, she served until 1965 before eventually returning to Germany. Today, U-995 is on display at the Lebo Naval Memorial, where you can see it for yourself. Number 12. Explorer Submarine. Back in 1865, inventor Julius Kroll designed the Explorer. It was the world's first fully operational submarine capable of surfacing without external help. At 12 meters long and weighing 30 tons, the vessel was manually powered and a groundbreaking step beyond prior designs. But tragedy followed innovation. Unknown at the time, decompression sickness, or the bends, proved fatal. After a series of pearl diving missions, every crew member, including Kroll himself, died due to rapid surfacing. The submarine was abandoned on the shores of San Telmo Island in Panama's Gulf. Its rusting remains still lie in the sand, untouched. Though forgotten for decades, Explorer is now recognized as a milestone in underwater engineering. It symbolizes both the ambition and danger that early submersible pioneers faced. Unlike wartime vessels, Explorer's legacy isn't one of combat, but of daring exploration. The remnants quietly reflect the risks of diving into the unknown way long before safety protocols even existed. Number 11. Soviet K-278 Komsomolets. The Soviet K-278 was launched in 1984 as part of the experimental project 685 Plavnik class, also known as the Mike class. Built with a titanium pressure hull, she was capable of reaching depths far beyond most submarines of her era. Armed with advanced sonar, modern torpedoes, and emergency escape pods, she was a marvel of Soviet engineering. But on April 7, 1989, disaster struck. While submerged in the Norwegian Sea, a fire broke out on board. Despite the crew's desperate efforts, the submarine was lost, taking 42 lives with her. The much-hyped escape pods proved more theoretical than useful. The sinking triggered serious concerns across the international naval community, highlighting the risks of nuclear submarines and flaws in emergency response protocols. K-278's radioactive core added environmental fears to the human tragedy. Today, she lies on the seafloor, a chilling reminder of how cutting-edge design can still fall victim to oversight, misfortune, and uncontrollable elements beneath the sea. Number 10. German submarine U-513. On August 7, 1942, Captain Friedrich Guggenberger set out aboard U-513, a German submarine tasked with sabotaging Canada's vital iron ore routes. After a fruitless week, new orders redirected him to Belle Island, Newfoundland, a strategic mining and shipping center. On September 3rd, U-513 surfaced in Conception Bay to observe defenses, but Guggenberger judged the risks too high for a surface strike and pulled back. The next night, the sub returned, this time submerged. Following a freighter along the coast, he used the periscope to scan Belle Island's harbor. Spotting two cargo ships, SS Saganaga and Lord Strathcona, both loaded with ore, Guggenberger moved into position. Two stern torpedoes were launched. Within 3 minutes, his log noted the chilling phrase, "We heard the ship sinking." The attack was one of the only successful U-boat strikes within North American waters. U-513's mission showed the range and nerve of German submarines disrupting Allied supply chains close to home shores. Number 9. U-475 Black Widow. The Black Widow was one of many giants developed during the Cold War. She rolled out of the Sudamek shipyard in Leningrad and was commissioned in 1967. Back then, her home port was Riga, Latvia, where she operated under the Baltic Fleet. Once her military chapter closed, she took on a new role as a training platform, helping to prepare crews for deployment on other Soviet submarines. She remained active until her decommissioning in 1994. After a few ownership changes, she was renamed U-475 Black Widow and now sits moored at Long's Wharf on the River Thames in southeast England. She was temporarily relocated to Folkestone in 1998 for an exhibit, but returned in 2004 to her current position. Though weathered by time and rust, she still stands as a museum piece, open for public tours, but deteriorating fast. Her condition today is fragile, reflecting decades of saltwater wear and the absence of consistent preservation. Number 8. USS Muskellunge SS-262. Among World War II's many silent hunters, The USS Muskellunge stands tall for its daring record and mysterious final chapter. This Gato-class submarine completed 11 successful war patrols in the Pacific, sinking 10 confirmed enemy ships, 6 of which were combat vessels. Long after the war, her fate remained uncertain until a remotely operated vehicle confirmed her wreck off the coast of Japan 80 years later. She's believed to have gone down in 1944, possibly after hitting a naval mine near Hokkaido's northern shoreline. The final resting place was pinpointed 7 kilometers off Hakodate at the Tsugaru Strait, lying roughly 2,250 meters deep. Her position suggests she was lying in ambush, waiting for passing ships between Honshu and Hokkaido. Spearheaded by Dr. Tamaki Ura and a team from the University of Tokyo, the wreck's discovery offered long-awaited closure. Half of her remains were found intact, though the other half may be buried or damaged by exceeding crush depth. What do you think about this beauty? Let us know. Number 7. Brandtaucher. Dating back to 1850, the Brandtaucher, or fire diver, was one of the earliest known submarines, designed by Bavarian inventor Wilhelm Bauer. With support from engineers at Schwefel and Haupt, the sub was constructed just in time to participate in the naval forces of the German Confederation during the First Schleswig War. Its mission was simple: break the Danish blockade. Originally intended to dive to 120 feet, budget cuts forced design changes, dropping max depth to just 30 feet. That compromise proved fatal. In 1851, the submarine sank during a trial in Kiel Harbor due to equipment failure. Bauer and his crew escaped, but the vessel remained lost for decades. It wasn't recovered until 1887. Despite the setback, Brandtaucher is the oldest surviving submarine on Earth. Preserved today in Dresden's Military History Museum, it offers a rare, tangible link to early underwater warfare. While never seeing combat, it paved the way for future submarine innovation and remains a symbol of industrial-era ambition. Number 6. Nazario Sauro, S518. Nazario Sauro joined the Marina Militare in 1980. Named after the World War I naval officer Nazario Sauro, she measured approximately 200 feet and displaced over 1,500 tons. This diesel-electric vessel handled multiple duties: anti-submarine warfare, surveillance, and intelligence collection. Equipped with torpedoes and anti-ship missile capability, her design allowed attacks on surface and underwater targets alike. With a cruising range of nearly 10,000 nautical miles, she could deploy for extended periods well beyond Italian waters. Throughout her career, she underwent several upgrades that extended her service life and enhanced combat performance. She also played an active role in international joint exercises, contributing to Mediterranean security and naval coordination. After 22 years of service, she was decommissioned in April 2002. Unlike many submarines that were scrapped or sunk, she was preserved and transformed into a maritime museum. Today, this Italian war beauty is docked in Genoa and serves as a great testament to Italian naval engineering and maritime heritage. Number 5. INS Kursura, S20. INS Kursura was launched in February 1969, and it holds a special place in Indian naval history. As the fourth submarine of the Kalvari class, adapted from the Soviet Foxtrot class, she represented a critical technological leap. Her finest chapter came during the 1971 Indo-Pakistan War, where she carried out vital patrol duties. After the conflict, Kursura shifted to diplomatic missions, hosting naval exercises and foreign visits that reinforced international ties. In 2001, after more than 3 decades of active duty, she was decommissioned. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu honored her by converting her into a museum. In August 2002, she was opened to the public on Ramakrishna Beach in Visakhapatnam. What sets Kursura apart is her unique distinction. she remains the only decommissioned Indian Navy ship to retain ceremonial dressing ship status. Her continued public presence not only preserves a legacy of bravery and innovation, but also reflects a deep cultural pride in India's maritime evolution. Number 4. Le Redoutable. Once the pride of France's nuclear fleet, Le Redoutable was the first ballistic missile submarine commissioned into the French Marine Nationale. Launched in 1971, she led her class as the earliest operational French nuclear deterrent. At first, she carried 16 M1 MSBS ballistic missiles, although it wasn't until 1974 that she received nuclear payload capabilities. Thankfully, they were never used. Over a span of 20 years, she completed more than 50 deterrent patrols, each one stretching over 70 days. In that time, she covered enough distance to circle the globe 32 times. After retirement in 1991, she remained docked for 9 more years before engineers began the delicate process of removing her nuclear reactor. Over 2 years, she was carefully converted into a museum ship. Unlike many others that met destructive ends, Le Redoutable was preserved, now displayed in Cherbourg's Cité de la Mer. She offers visitors a rare glimpse inside a fully intact Cold War-era nuclear submarine. All right, guys, now let's head over to Number 3. German submarine U-534. U-534 is one of only 4 German U-boats from World War II that still, somehow, survive. After completing its training missions in Szczecin, Poland, it joined a combat flotilla at the Lorient base in France by May 31, 1943. Later, on November 1, 1944, U-534 was transferred to another group in Flensburg, Germany. On May 5, 1945, as Nazi Germany collapsed, the submarine was attacked near Kattegat by a British B-24 Liberator. 10 depth charges struck, sinking the vessel. Out of the 49 on board, only 3 survived. The wreck sat undisturbed until 1983, when Danish businessman Carsten Ree funded its recovery, sparking rumors of hidden Nazi treasure. However, nothing of value was found. In 1996, U-534 was relocated to Birkenhead, UK, joining the Warship Preservation Trust collection. Unlike many wartime wrecks, she remains preserved. Her hull, damaged but intact, now stands as a rare example of late-war German submarine engineering, anchored in history rather than lost beneath the sea. It was amazing. Number 2. Soviet submarine K-159. Soviet submarine K-159, designated as Project 627A, was a nuclear-powered vessel commissioned in 1963. Built for the Soviet Navy's November-class fleet, she specialized in anti-submarine patrols during the height of Cold War tensions. By 1989, she was decommissioned and left moored in poor condition, rusted, unmaintained, and partially flooded. In August 2003, while being towed through the Barents Sea for scrapping, K-159 sank during a violent storm. The outdated pontoons meant to stabilize her failed. As a result, she plummeted to the seabed, killing 9 crew members. Now resting at a depth of 800 feet, K-159 remains a haunting chapter in Soviet naval history. More importantly, her sinking highlighted serious gaps in submarine decommissioning protocols, especially when dealing with nuclear-powered vessels. With her reactor still on board, the incident triggered environmental concerns about radiation leakage. Discussions on how to retrieve her have lingered for years, with international pressure mounting to remove her before irreversible contamination affects surrounding marine life. Number 1. HMAS Otama. HMAS Otama, an Oberon-class submarine, served the Royal Australian Navy for over 20 years before plans emerged to preserve her as a floating museum. She was decommissioned with the intention of becoming a public exhibit, inviting visitors to explore her naval legacy. However, bureaucratic delays and stalled permits derailed those ambitions. The unexpected twist? Otama ended up listed on eBay. Potential buyers had wild ideas. One envisioned it as a traveling event venue, but concerns over illegal use, including drug smuggling, caused her custodians to refuse. The submarine story took another turn when she became a prop in the award-winning Russian short film Deeper Than Yesterday. Though she never got her museum, Otama gained cinematic fame. Now resting quietly off the coast of Hastings, Australia, she remains a stranded but striking relic. Her battered hull tells a different kind of story, one shaped not just by war or sea, but by mismanaged hopes and cultural reinvention. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.